Well, hi and welcome to the beautiful Shearsby Valley. It's a lovely September day, really warm, and I expect to catch a load of fish. Now, just a few weeks ago we did a brilliant pace fishing video, had a great response, had nearly 30,000 views now on the Sonia Baits YouTube channel. Thanks everyone for watching, that's been a really good response. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to go into a bit more detail when it comes to pace fishing, because that video is very much a basics guide. You know, we used the one-to-one paste, very simple setup. So I just wanted to go into a bit more detail. You know, when the fish are under pressure in match conditions, you know, sometimes you have to tweak your approach a little bit to get the most out of the bait. So I just wanted to run you through how I go about it. You know, I've got a couple of different paste mixes. I've got some ground bait today and a bit of hemp as I did before. So I just want to run you through all that as well as the rigs and where I'm fishing. Let's get to it. On the last video we did on the Sonia Baits channel, I used the one-to-one paste from Sonia Baits. Great product, dead easy to use, very user friendly, catch loads of fish with it. But when I'm fishing a match, I like to have my bait to be, I like a bit of an edge, and I like to do things my own way as well. So I'm going to show you the tweaks that I do to the bait to get it right for how I want to do it under match conditions when the fish are under pressure. Now the first thing is the ground bait that we use. I actually use a ground bait to make the paste. I love a green bait for paste fishing. It's just something I've got confidence in. I think it's very visible in this coloured water. I don't know why, but I think it just stands out on the bottom. So what I use is the Sonia Baits green fish meal. Really strong smelly mix, which is perfect for paste, and better still, it's fine, but it's not fine enough for how I want it. So what I do, I run it through a pinky riddle, and then even if it's not fine enough, then I take up all them bigger bits. I'll even put it through a flour riddle sometimes, a flour sieve. What I want it to be absolute dust. The reason being, actually, those bigger particles, though the fish love them, it's not a problem, it actually speeds up the breakdown rate of the paste. So because I want to fish the bait so wet, like dripping off my hook, the bigger bits actually just make it break up too quick, and I don't actually get long enough in the water to get myself a bite. So what I do, I get it like dust, as fine as I can get it, and then it just clings around the hook that bit longer so I can get myself a bite. How I'm going to fish today, I'm going to fish in two spots. I'm going to fish at 5 metres and then I'm going to fish in the margins. I'll talk you through that in a bit more detail, but it's the reason why I have two different pastes. Here, especially at Shearsby Valley, you get a lot of fish in the margins when they turn up. You know, you get a lot of bodies in the swim, you get a lot of movement, a lot of water movement, and that in turn can knock the hook out the paste really quickly. So what I do, but again, you still need that super soft paste. So what I do, I actually combine it with a fibre paste. It's something Adam Rumble put me onto. Just using a bit of fibre paste. Again, I put it through that fine riddle, get the bigger particles out of it, and it just holds the paste together that little bit more. Just to give you an idea, I use 3 pots of the ground bait. I just used the pole pot off the end of my pole. 3 pots of ground bait to 1 pot of the fibre paste, and then mix it up. Just the same as how we did it in the last video. It's the same with these two pastes today. I put the water in the bowl first, then I put the dry ingredients on top, swill it around and just leave it. It'll go like a soup to start with, but within 10 minutes it'll be absolutely perfect. Even there, the two pastes I've got, although they're lovely and wet, I will actually wetten them further, but that's after just 10 minutes soaking time. So there's, that probably will dry up a bit more, and then I'll tweak it as the match goes on. But as you can see, that's the one with the fibre paste in, and that's the one that's just a straight green fish meal, and it just ever so slightly holds together that little bit more, just a bit less crumbly. Absolutely brilliant. If I can get away with it and there's not so many fish, I will always use just a straight green fish meal. Like I say, I get it really wet. I'll show you how wet I fish it later when I'm actually doing some fishing, but I want it absolutely dripping off the hook. The wetter the better. The number of times people look at the paste that I've got on my side tray and they think I'm having a laugh is unbelievable. You've got to get it super wet and you'll hit more bites, so just take it without caution. So that's it, that's the 2 pastes. Simple stuff really, but like I say, that addition of the fibre paste just allows it to hang onto the hook that little bit longer when I'm fishing it super soft. So in terms of feed baits, once again, hemp is my #1 feed bait, especially for that 5 metre swim. Nice heavy bait, just pulls fish to the bottom, fish love it, grubs them around, and I put it all in through the pot, I won't throw any in. One thing I noticed here at Shearsby, there's loads of fish. And as soon as if I make any noise or any commotion, the fish are so willing to come up in the water, and I just don't want that. So everything I do is pot it in, and I just sneak it in either with a big pot, or I'll put a little bit in my paste pot as I'm fishing. The only other bait I've got with me today is ground bait. Now I've just got half a bag of maggot fish meal ground bait, just a lovely sticky heavy mix. And what I'll do later in the session, I'll pot that in. It's not even 2 foot deep down the edge, but I'll pot that in and then present my paste over that. Fish love ground bait, as we all know, especially here at Shearsby. The edges are very shallow here, and for some reason they just love coming in over ground bait. So that's the bait. Like I say, simple stuff really. I've got my 2 pots of paste, I've got my hemp, I've got my ground bait. Now let's have a look at some rigs. Now I've got 2 rigs set up for today's session. I've got the one for the 5 metre line, which is roughly about 5 foot deep, and then I've got one for the margins. They're both, pretty much the same as what I used in the last video. No shot down the line at all. I've just got my float, no shot, and then a size 10 hook at the bottom. The float, I'll run through it. It's just one of the Preston paste floats with the eye at the top. Nice long bristle, nice long stable stem. Don't need anything more complicated than that really. What I like about this float in particular, because it's got the eye at the top, it actually allows me to hold a tight line between the pole tip and the float. So when I'm sat waiting for a bite, I can actually hold it tight and almost feel the bang on the pole. Takes a bit of concentration, that, and you've got to really concentrate and be on your mark. But that is a great way to fish, especially when conditions allow, like today when it's flat calm. But that is it, it's simple stuff. I've got 15 hollow elastic. Again, we're going to be trying to catch a lot of fish today. I don't really want to mess around. The edge rig, it's the same setup, no shot or anything. As you can see there, it's probably 18 inches deep, maybe 15 inches deep, something like that. And I've got the same float, but what I've done, I've actually shortened it down. Hold that one up to the camera. That's the full length one. And what I've done, I've just chopped the stem down by probably 2/3. I still want the long bristle to read what's going on in the swim, but I don't want that long float in the edge when it's only 18 inches deep anyway. It just allows me just to be a bit more stealthy in my approach. To go with that, I have quite a long length of line between the float and the pole tip. Like I say, I just want to pop my paste in and then move my pole out of the way. You rarely miss bites. If you get a proper bite, you'll hit it anyway, even with a long line like that. 2 rigs, dead simple, but 2 different areas of the swim that I can target with the paste. Okay, so we're ready. We've got all our bait prepared, we've got the rigs tied up, we've plumbed our swim. Now it's time to get going. All I'm going to do, I'm just going to give it the bottom of my pot of hemp. It's quite an interesting venue. There's a lot of fish, there's a lot of small fish as well, so don't need to go too mad with the bait. And what I'm going to do, I've got obviously, just like any pole fishing, accuracy is really important. So I've got my far bank marker, which in this case is a nice, the platform on the other bank. So like I say, slightly to my right. And more about that will come later in the session, but we'll put that bang on our marker. Like I say, I've washed that oil off the hemp, so hopefully no fish will come too high in the water. We'll just grab our rig. Now, fishing paste is, it's a simple process, but again, it needs to be explained. So what I do, I always set my pole up and have the top kit on the pole before I actually ship out. Then I just ship my pole in and I trap it on my knee like that against my leg. And if I want to put some hemp in, what I'll do, I'll put it in the pot now, or like I say, put my paste on. Just wet my fingers, grab a nice piece of paste. Don't mess around with little bits, you want a decent lump. Like that, don't mess around with it too much, don't work it too much. Give it a dunk in the water, get it really wet, slide it in the pot, and then go out there. As you can see, I've just got a large cad pot on there. It's perfect, because of the holes, the paste just falls out of it, so dead easy. There's no vacuums caused or anything like that. Let's just pop that in. So I'll pop that in right on top of that hemp. There's no shot on the rig, so I'm just waiting for the paste to find the bottom and it'll cock my float. Like I say, what I'm trying to do is pull my float up until there. So what I've got now, everything's perfectly tight. I've got the pole tip, the line from the pole tip to the top of my float for that top eye, perfectly straight and tight. The float's on a slight angle because I've got it pulled tight to the hook bait, and everything's intact. I'm in touch with the hook bait perfectly now. And hopefully, as soon as I get a bite, which hopefully shouldn't take too long, And I can really read what's going on like this. Because you will miss bites fishing like this, it's just the nature of the beast. Oh, indication there. Just be patient though, just put your blinkers on a bit. If you're missing bites, don't worry about it. You tend to get little runs where the fish settle perfectly and you'll catch 4 or 5 fish. Right, there we go, just a little fish, but we've got one anyway. You tend to get little runs of fish when you pace fishing. When everything's settled, the fish are settled, you'll get 4 or 5 fish in quick succession before it going a bit funny again. But you just got to fish through it, put the blinkers on a bit, and don't worry about it. You'll see so many people, they foul a few fish and then that's it, they don't want to do it anymore, so. Pole low, well, $15, perfect. Nice fish. So we've got a good tackle on, so we're expecting to catch a lot of fish today. Now, I won a match here a couple of weeks ago and I was feeding my pemp through the pot, the paste pot. But it was actually better later in the session when I just fed through the big pot. And that might be the case today. I was almost feeding too regular last time I came in. There we go, nice fish on the paste. Good one first chuck. Nice mirror. Let's try catch another one in the net. It really is that simple. Like I say, wet my hand straight away. Nice big piece of paste, like I say, I'm not messing around. I'm not actually going to put any more hemp in just yet, even though I've caught a fish. I'm just going to give it another chuck and just see. You've got to remember, with a big lump of paste like you're feeding, you swim every time anyway, so. With it being so flat calm today, I'm really wary of bringing the fish up in the water. So I don't want to put too much bait in. Stuff like that, it's gone down. So there's an indication straight away, so there's going to be fish in the swim anyway. That ground bait's so potent, it'll pull them in, that hook bait. And I don't think, to be honest, today, they're going to want to be in the edge before long anyway, so. And that is a totally different way of looking at it, way of feeding, much more aggressive. And that's when you can really do your damage, when they come in the edge. And it can be lightning fast. You know, when you're fishing other baits like maggots and worms and things like that, the fish, they can sort of avoid them because it just looks so obvious, whereas a big lump of paste, when you're feeding ground bait, it's sort of match the hatch territory. And they just suck it in. Just getting indications all the time here. Oh, little fish. All right. So my decision not to feed again was justified because I caught a fish straight away without foul looking one, or it's only a small fish in F1 I think. That's how it goes. A nice little buddy carp. Look at that thing. Not all big fish on paste. Look at that beauty. Lovely fish. He actually breeds them himself here at Shearsby Valley, which I certainly got it going. Let's see if we can catch one more without feeding again, because I dare say there's still some hemp on the bottom, so nice big lump. Look at that. Only just fits in the pot, that's how big it is. It's worth being really patient with you when you're reading your bristle. Fish is on, it'll be on anyway, so just that one then, it actually dragged under really slow and it was just under for ages and ages and ages, probably 10 seconds before I even thought about striking. Gave it every opportunity to come back up if it was a liner. It wasn't, so I gave it a strike and the fish was on, so. Oh, nice fast bite there straight away. Could be on that fish. Yep, see, only a small fish, but it's probably been deliberate with what I'm doing. Another little one of those little homebred carp, look at that. Beautiful little fish. It's not all about the big ones when you fish from paste. Okay, so we've been catching really well on this 5 metre line and it's been a good session so far. Some plenty of fish. I'm just already thinking might be time to go in the edge. Nice breeze now blowing into the bank. The fish are showing signs where they want to be in shallower water. I'm just going to try and eke out a couple more fish. I'll just show you next how I go about fishing in the edge, because like I say, that's a totally different ball game to this. One. 15, I'll soon get some under control. One little pull and pretty much get them. Lovely. Another one of those nice size 2-pounders. Plenty of them in here. Right, okay, we've had a brilliant session so far, fishing on that 5 metre line. But can't help myself, but I want to get in that margin. Getting a lot of indications now that just tells me that the fish want to be in shallower water, and I think that the margins will be the place to target them. Like I say, I've got my rig. We'll have a little plump up and I'll show you what I'm looking for before we put any bait in. Nice heavy plummet. And what I'm going to do, I've got it sort of set at about that sort of 15-18 inches, but it's more important about the gradient. Obviously you don't want to fish on a cliff face with paste because it'll just roll down. So I'm just looking for a little flat bit, little dinner plate if you like, that I can put my bait on. Don't want to be too far out again. Top kit, 1 and a bit, and there's a lovely little flat bit just there. So it's just past my number 3 section, and I can just hold it, and I just know that if I can present my pace perfectly there. Now, I fish it slightly different when I'm fishing in the edge. I actually fish a bit over depth, a float length over depth, and I'll show you why in a minute. That's just perfect. It's a lovely depth to catch fish in, that is. And I'll show you how I'm going to feed. Pretty simple. Just get my cupping kit. Again, everything's done through the cupping kit. And I'm just going to get a full pot of the maggot fish meal. Now, pot it in, press it into my pot, so it's in there, and I've drilled myself a hole out in the bottom which stops the vacuum being created. And what I'll do, turn the pot over and just wait, and it'll fall out and it'll be in a real nice tight clump. It's nearly nice and wet, and it's heavy mix anyway. So right on my marker, just past my number 3 section, got a far bank marker where that little dinner plate is. I'll just turn the pot over and lift gently and it's out. Hopefully it won't be long before we catch a fish there. Okay, so here we go. Put that ground bait in. I'm going to put a real nice big smelly soft wet up bait on. Perfect, that is. Let's get it in there. I don't think it'll take long. There's already signs of fish there over that pot. So it's all about the timing. The timing of the day is perfect. We've had the indications at 5 metres and the signs that the fish wanted to come into shallower water. So we just waited. As soon as they give me them signs, I'm on it. Now, hopefully the GoPro will be picking this up, but what I do, I fish with the float actually on the surface. What I want to do, if I fish it in the traditional style with the float upright, I just get too many indications. I'll just be striking all the time at false stuff. Don't want that. So what I'm doing, I give myself every opportunity to leave it alone. By that I mean I fish it with a float flat on the surface, just laying there like that, and the indications will be like little knocks like that, almost like fishing like old school John Wilson style. Just waiting, little knocks like that, little knocks, and then when the fish takes it, it'll upright and then slam under. Really great way of fishing. There's fish down there already. It's just one pot of bait. So I'm not in any rush to feed again, because I know from former experience how it can just become chaos in this place. Come on there now. At the end of the day, my up bait's like half a pot of ground bait, so there's plenty of bait going in even when I'm not feeding. Wait. Fish in the area, there's one there now. There we go. Tearing off this one. 15 holler again in the edge. Could use heavier, but because it's so shallow, I do like to have 15 holler. It just seems like the right choice. but the float, just as I said, cocked up, went under. I gave it a few seconds just to prove to me that it was on. There we go, a nice big ball lob of paste on. Let's just get it in position. Just wait for the bite. Shouldn't take long. There we go. Oh, ghosty. Perfect edge fish. Under control, nice and fast. Big fish as well. Just waddling about. Coming a bit soon, this one. Oh yes, and he is a proper pace fish and the perfect fish to show you how good the margins are. Look at that beauty. Unbelievable. In quick, got him in quick. A bit too quick. Let's get a disgorger out. And that is why you can do such big weights so quickly when you're fishing like this. You get your bite so quick. Look at that. Beautiful edge fish. Perfect one to end our little session on. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.